Herb. Yo, I don't think we should talk about this.
Come on, why not?
People might misunderstand what we're trying to say, you know?
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's go.
Coitus.
Giggity.
Sexy.
Can we just talk?
You're listening to Pleasurable Noise on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
On the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, where you learn about the politics of sex. Yeah, have a little comedy here and there, listening to some great music, and you get to hang out with me, DJ Rocky Lee Savage. And I'm here joined by Vanessa Geffrard, host and creator of the Vagesteem podcast. How you doing, Vanessa?
Good, how are you?
I'm glad to hear from you. It's kind of like the first time we get to meet, sort of.
I know. I think I'm ready. This is good. I like it.
All right, you like the music? I like the funk.
I love it. I like the whole official aspect of it.
All right, so I'm corny, so I had to go with the corny music. So, but
cool.
Anyway, so for those of you who don't know who Vanessa is, just tell me about yourself and what you do and what your podcast is all about.
Sure. So my name is Vanessa. I'm a sexual health educator in Baltimore, and like Raquel was saying, or wait, should I call you Rocky?
You call me Rocky. This is my stage name now.
Sorry, like Rocky's saying. My platform is Vagesteem. So Vagesteem is a podcast as well as a series of workshops where basically I empower folks to have courageous conversations about love, sex, and everything in between. And so the podcast is just an opportunity to really just take a sex ed lens and learn a ton of different perspectives on various different sexual health topics. So I love it.
Oh, I love that. I love tuning into your podcast because you actually make me laugh with these funny questions that everybody has to ask. I think it was this one about whether or not something gets stuck up there, and I had to incorporate it today.
I'm ready.
But anyways, so you guessed it, guys. We're going to be talking about vages today. And so tell me, Vanessa, what are the different parts of your vagina? Let's start off with that.
Oh, boy. So, I mean, there's a lot of different parts. Your most important parts to know is the thing about all of those parts down there that you can see is actually called the vulva. And so we've been kind of like mischaracterizing or misnaming all of the parts down there. So the whole is literally just the vagina. Vulva is all of the parts that you can see on the outside except for the anus. And so that is new for people. Think about the vagina. The vagina is the opening, is one of the openings below the belt. Vagina, you have period blood, baby, if you have one, and discharge, the way that the vagina cleans itself. You have the outer labia and the inner labia, or also known as the outer lips and the inner lips. One could stick out, one is super dark, the other pair is there for protection. And then we have the clitoris, which is, I mean, for a lot of people, the most important part. The clitoris is the only organ, and its only function is for pleasure. And so it has about 8,000 nerve endings. For some people, it could be as small as a pea and as big as a thumb on some folks. And then I think we got it, right?
I think that answers that whole entire question. You gave me like an entire paragraph. I love it to an ending point. She was like, I straight lectured the crap out of that question. Anyways, no, that's what we need to hear. We need to learn about our vages because I feel like everyone understands that it's just the pee hole, or it's just like the hole that you put stuff in, or like that's what everyone's idea. And I want everybody to learn that there are different spaces, there's different parts, and we're gonna go over them as we go along. But what's the most important part of your vag in your opinion?
Oh man, I mean, they're all so special and so wonderful. I mean, I think that for me, whenever I teach, I think for me the most important thing is that people just understand the anatomy and know the parts and become acquainted with knowing the functions and what they do. And for me, the most important thing is that people people look at them. So the thing about folks with vaginas versus folks with penises have to like touch, move, finagle their penis and see it because it's just right there. And I feel like folks with penises have an opportunity to see them a lot. They're drawn everywhere. In the locker room, you see them. So people with penises just have it, just are more acquainted, it feels, and you know, for some people, different levels of comfort, but in the grander scheme, more comfortable with having a penis, seeing a penis. Whereas folks with vaginas, folks with vulvas, you don't see them because they're kind of hidden away. So it does take some time to like look, explore, become one. And a lot of times when I'm teaching, folks are like, "Oh my, no, I don't want to."
I rewatched Sex Education for that one reason today. Actually, was just that part where she was learning about herself. She's like, "Ew, no, I wouldn't do that," and then she discovers herself and she's like, "Oh, that was amazing."
Exactly. That's the thing. And so like there's just so many amazing parts to know, but for me, not only is it for us to know, but to become more comfortable, because a lot of times the images that we see of vulvas may come from porn, and those vulvas may be bleached, the lips may be super small. A lot of really popular surgery that's happening right now is called labiaplasty, where folks are getting their lips cut to fit like a certain mold because they feel like the lips are too big, but that is, for you, that is what your lips are supposed to look like. And I feel
like breasts, they should be like hanging natural. It is what it is.
They hang for some people, they're smaller on some people, and just like literally the lips on your face, some people got really big soup cooler lips, some people got really small tiny lips, and it's the same diversity of lips below the belt. And so it's just really becoming acquainted with what you have, becoming more comfortable with it, and just loving up on it, because this way we can fight some of that, you know, that the images that we see around, you know, people trying to shame our bodies and what they naturally like.
Right. I think for something so like below the belt, like everything has to be out in person. I'm used to everybody like, you know, this, you have to have a certain look. Now I have to worry about like what's underneath my underwear. Like now I have that. I can't stand that.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to deal with. And when we're talking about like pleasure, which I know we're going to get on later, it's like you can't even allow yourself, and which is why I started Vagesteem. It was really to encourage people to like love up on themselves, to look at themselves. But I feel that people who have high Vagesteem, where I feel it's the confidence of and in your vagina and vulva, the higher your vag is willing to take care of those parts, the more that you're willing to look at those parts, and the more that you're willing to bring pleasure to those parts. And so it's just really important to just become acquainted, look, touch, feel, whatever you need to do, because we don't see those parts as much.
Exactly. So if I'm younger and I want to watch my lady bits, so what do you like if I really have to, what do you recommend, and like what do you have to say about douching and washing your lady bits?
Ah, man, it's so funny that you say younger, because I feel like this is something that people of all ages need to know. So the thing about the vagina is that it does not need soap. It is a self-cleaning organ. And so when I'm talking about the vagina, again, the opening, it does not need soap. And so the thing is, just like our eyeballs, just like our eyes, the eye is a self-cleaning organ. You never have to stick soap inside the eye to know that the eye is clean. The eye has tears. The eye has boogies when you wake up in the morning on the sides of your eye.
But you put soap in your eye, it's gonna burn.
Exactly. And it's gonna burn inside the vagina as well. So the way that the vagina naturally cleans itself is through discharge. And so it's the white, creamy, milky, whatever, sticky stuff that you might see in your underwear. And it's literally our barometer. That is literally telling us like everything's going okay. Depending on the texture, it could be associated with different times during our periods. It's just literally the way to know that, all right, cool, everything is going okay. Depending on the color, oh, cool, everything is going okay. And so it's really important that we have that function. And for some people, there may be an ick factor, but it's literally like, boom, that's the way that our bodies wonderfully function.
It's gross and slimy. Ali Wong described it best, where she's like, when and you put it in your underwear and you come and you can blow bubbles. I'm like, ew, I understand the feeling, and that's just gross, but I relate.
Yeah, it's literally, it has its function, and that's the thing. We have a lot of folks who see that and they're like, oh, why is this here? But the more that we mess with it, which is literally the natural thing for our body to do, the more that we start pushing up bad bacteria into the vagina, which can cause infection, which then lead to the douching and all these other things that we are, that we're trying to get away from. So when it comes to hygiene, it's just really important that we take a warm, towel, washcloth, and that we wash around the lips to clean around there. And for some people, they're super sensitive to soap. So I would recommend, if you are using soap, a mild soap like Dove or Oil of Olay. I would not recommend using Irish Spring or Dial on your...
Oh my God. You know what? That stuff is already harsh enough. You can smell somebody like 2 miles away that's used Irish Spring soap. So I can imagine what that kind of smell mixed with your regular bacteria could honestly smell like.
It just literally strips you down. So, and then some people, they're so sensitive to certain soaps. So all you really need is a warm washcloth and just making sure that you're cleaning in between the lips, and you should be just fine. When it comes to douching, I like to say douching is fake news. It is a myth. There's no reason why you need to do, literally, there's no reason to stick anything inside the vagina, because I just told y'all the vagina cleans itself. So this is, y'all are in college. It's literally capitalism at its best. I like to say that it's working to shame people with vaginas, because there's no other product out there for anybody else with a penis to just be like, let's just clean up in there for no reason. Douching actually can push bad bacteria further into the vagina and your urinary tract, and basically cause yeast infections, cause a bacterial vaginosis, and some other infections to happen. And so it's just really important to just trust your process, trust what your body is doing. There's no need after your period to douche or clean anything. Your body is literally naturally cleaning itself all the time. So do not buy those things. And douching, when we're talking about the bacteria and the infections that can develop, that's where sometimes that fishy smell may come, or those smells that we're trying to get away from, which are actually being pushed further up into the vagina. So
explain. Hey y'all, this is Pleasurable Noise on the voice of NASA Community College 90.3 WHPC. What abnormal discharge would be?
So abnormal discharge would be if the discharge is a different color from your normal color. So if it's like green, that is not okay, y'all.
Oh God. So what does green mean? Like, explain to me like the different colors and stuff, because apparently there's like a chart. When I look it up, there's green, there's yellow. I want to know, what exactly does these gross looking things look like besides the weird milky stuff that comes out of your underwear every week?
So the thing about it is that's why I say it's really important for everyone to become acquainted with their discharge, their bodies, because it's different for a lot of people. Some people, they, during the summertime, they just have a lot of discharge because they are, they're literally just sweating a lot. Some people just naturally have heavy discharge. Some people have little discharge. And so it's different for everybody. But when we start getting into colors, so yellow could be abnormal discharge. It might mean a sign of bacterial infection or an STD.
You're listening to Project 3X on the voice of NASA Community College 90.3 WHPC.
If you have brown, it could be that you're coming off your period, or you might be spotting. Green discharge is just not normal, y'all. So basically it's another sign of infection, bacterial infection or STD. And then if we notice that it's thick and white, and if it's irritating, it could be a sign of a yeast infection.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why it's important to not mess with that delicate balance. It's your natural way for your body to be like, hey, everything's cool, or hey, you got to get checked out. And if it has an odor to it that's not your natural odor, and what I mean by that, I have to break this down, because if it smells like fish, then that's how we know we might have an infection. It's time to just go to the doctor, get that checked out. Don't try and treat it yourself. Make sure that you get everything hashed out with your doctor. But if you're looking at your discharge and you're really paying attention to it, and your discharge, the the scent can be changed by the type of underwear that you're wearing.
What about penis? Because I'm allergic to penis, and I felt that was a weird thing to say to somebody, but I was like, I literally, because my underwear, if I have raw penis in my vajayjay, I have an issue with like the fact that like my underwear would be bleached out. Like it's high acidic, it smells weird, and it's just and that's what I'm scared of. So like I literally have to wear a condom because I'm allergic every single time it happens, and I can't help it. And when I tell guys that, it's like, is that really a thing? Are you just trying to like are you trying to come up with an excuse for me not to?
No, oh my gosh. So I appreciate you bringing that up. The thing about semen and the thing about vaginal fluids, the vagina is very acidic and semen is basic. And so when those two things come together, and depending on the chemistry of that person's body, there is going to be a scent afterwards, just because it's like you have semen in you that is now coming out. It's literally seeping out of your body. And so there's a lot of mixtures of fluids happening. So it is natural that there is a scent. Now, if it's ever itchy or if there's like a rash that breaks out, then that person might be allergic to something that's happening in that situation. But I think it's perfectly natural and normal. If you take a shower, you should be fine within a day. Everything should be cool. And I know, and that's the other thing I was saying, is that I have some people that freak out if their discharge smells different, but it can literally be you have hair, you have skin, and you have discharge, and you have underwear. Like everything is being trapped. There is bound to be a scent. And the thing is that we don't smell like roses. We're not supposed to smell like nothing or water or lavender breeze or whatever stuff we got out there. You are supposed to smell like yourself. And so the only way to know what you smell like is to become acquainted with and comfortable with who you are, what you're doing. Some of us, our scent is changed by our diet. So like people like me who eat a lot of garlic, there's a lot of stuff going on. But and I know for me, like when I drink coffee, like my whole down there smells like coffee. It's just the way that my body's metabolizing coffee. I don't know why, but that's just literally the way it is. And so different things change our scent. When you are even talking about the kind of underwear that we're wearing. So if you're wearing like non-cotton underwear, and you know that silky type of underwear that like
stop
has
going to Victoria's Secret. They're done with me.
If that underwear will actually trap, because it's not a breathable type of material, so it'll just trap whatever scent is in there. And so it's really important to just like air your stuff out, wear cotton underwear, wear no underwear at times, just so that we're breathing down there. There's a lot of hair, there's pores, there's sweat. Like it is natural.
So should we shave our body then, if that's the case? Should we shave down there so we don't get bacteria?
So shaving, waxing, and not shaving or waxing is a matter of preference. And so what I like to tell people is it is what you want to do. You can have hair, and you just need to make sure if scent or sweating a lot is your jam, then just making sure that you're taking a shower, drying off, and airing out should be fine. And so the thing about shaving or waxing, my number one tip is that it needs to be your choice. Do not let a partner or someone tell you like, oh, gross, what do you do? The hair grows there for a reason. The hair is there for protection, is there to reduce friction, and the hair biologically is there to trap pheromones. So all that smell good, attracting your partner stuff is the reason why the hair is there as well. And so I think we've gotten into this culture of like, we're going to shave, we're going to wax. But there's also a proper way to do that. You got to make sure that you're going to a reputable waxing place if you're going. You also, with waxing, there is the risk of like the skin, some skin damage. So you really need to be mindful of like STDs and pathways for bacteria to get in if you're removing the hair. And when it comes to shaving, like having balance in your bathtub, using a fresh razor every single time, like those things are important to make sure that we're not nicking ourselves and just having extra entryways for STDs or bacteria to get in. But if whatever you choose to do with that hair, let it be your choice. Let it be your preference. Do not let a partner shame you for something that grows naturally or shame you for something that you like. Unless that partner is putting in on that waxing bill, I don't want to hear a damn thing about what what you got to say. And even if they are, it's your body. It's whatever makes you comfortable. And again, that's that whole like building your confidence and boosting that, you know, that self-esteem, boosting that Vagesteem to become just more acquainted and more comfortable what you have. It's yours. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's whatever you want to do with it.
So my question to you is, it's really off talks about periods. Well, it talks about periods where, you remember Whoopi Goldberg is coming out with a new line of menstrual products.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that? Because I'm totally down with anything with marijuana in it.
I haven't done too much I've just like read the articles that have been out on Whoopi Goldberg's products, and I think that's great. Like, the more that people could find relief during their periods and relax during their periods, I think that's great.
I agree. They should put a chocolate bar in every Tampax box.
Whatever way, like, I know for me, salt is like my way, but salt doesn't help with like cramps and stuff. So I'm gonna order large pepperoni pizza because the saltier the better.
I feel you. Chinese food for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not a sweets like on my period kind of person, but I think that's great. I think that that's an untapped market. I think it's, you know, great that we're thinking of innovative ways to just think about, you know, periods and the cramps that might come with periods. However, I do want us to be alert that if we have cramps to the point where we can't function like naturally, like you have your period and you are dizzy, you got migraines, like you can't get up for days, that's something that you have to talk to your doctor about. Like, that's not normal, that's not okay, and if you are debilitated, like, you need to, you know, make sure that you're going to the doctor. But any type of relief, go for it.
Agreed. So, do you believe in masturbating during your period? Because I had to ask that one. I read up on that one. I felt like this one should be brought up because not a lot of people are into it, but I feel like it relieves cramps. What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you. You are 100% there. I ain't got nothing to add. Do it. And on top of that, your period, I feel, so your period is, and the week before your period is when you are ovulating. So you are literally the horniest. I feel, well, not I feel, but scientifically too. You are literally your horniest. And so not only are you trying to like get it in during that time, but also, like you said, it is a great cramp reliever. So rub one out, use a vibrator, do whatever you got to do. Really great cramp reliever. And it helps give all those like feel good endorphins and all that. So work it out.
Okay. Well, so we have a few minutes left before I have to end the show for today, and we'll pick up next week.
Okay.
But I want to play a game with you first.
Okay, let's do it.
Are you ready? So we're going to talk about, we're basically going to play a game to see how many different names for the vag you can come up with. All right. So I hope you are ready.
Okay, I'm going to try.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Ready? Go!
All right. How many can you come up with? It? You got 1 minute.
All right, coochie, vag, vajayjay, man in the boat,
Man in the boat,
chest, punani, uchiwali, let's see, poontang,
what?
Some people call it Virginia pocketbook.
Say what?
Cooter. Is there anything else?
That was like 8 so far.
Damn! How much more time do I have?
I think you have like about 20 seconds. 19, 18,
damn,
17, 16,
monkey,
15. Monkey, what? I don't even know if that's one. You just made that one up.
I can't think. As a vagina person, I cannot.
Time up.
Oh my god!
You came up with 8. That's good. I like that. I love that you actually came by. Basically, tell us anything that's going on. Any thing coming to NYC at all?
Man, I love so a couple of things. So you can find the Vagesteem podcast. That's VAGESTEEM, like self-esteem, but just put vag in the front of esteem. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. So if you have an iPhone, it is the purple podcast app right on your screen. Right there. You don't even have to look for it. You just type in Vagesteem. You can listen to it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. You can just type it in. You can even listen to it on my website at Vagesteem.com. As far as events, on April 11th, going to be in New York, actually in Brooklyn, at Von Bar. It is the 3rd annual Pod and Live NYC podcast meetup. So if you like podcasts, want to start a podcast, if you just love podcasters, come out and meet a bunch of us. There's a ton of independent podcasts who are coming. It is May 11th at 4 p.m. at Von Bar on 3 Bleecker Street. Come and join us. It goes from like 4 till. So drop by. You can meet me. You can get Vagesteem swag.
I get a free T-shirt.
New York.
I'm just kidding.
So that's the most recent thing. The thing that I have coming up.
Okay.
But yeah, reach out to me. You can follow Vagesteem on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Vagesteem. You can send me your questions. I'll answer them anytime. And yeah, that's where you
If you like what you heard and want to hear more, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts and click subscribe to listen to full versions of this show. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or you want to show the show some love, DM me at DJ Rocky Lee Savage on Instagram and Twitter, as well as the show page. And if that just doesn't work for you, email me at pleasureablenoise@gmail.com. That's pleasureablenoise@gmail.com. I'll give you a stripper name if I decide to read your question aloud on the show. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for listening to Pleasurable Noise on the Voice of NASA Community College, 90.3 WHPC. And now here's a clip from the extended version of this show.
Doggy style, unfortunately, y'all. I know a lot of y'all want to do that. It does not hit the clit.
I thought the balls hit the clit. No?
You said the what?
The balls hit the clit? No?
I mean, if you have a very aggressive ball mover, sure. But if you're doing... like, that takes a lot of aggressive thrusting. So, if you are doing doggy style, like, you do need to, like, reach your hand around to, like, you know, to stimulate the clit, or reach a toy around so that you can stimulate the clit. But the positions where it's just like, in and out is not going to get at the clit. Like, rubbing, moving your hips. You got to get that hip action going so that you can make sure that you're incorporating the clit.